it's fitting, Dragon. If this is not a madness, I don't know what it is. Currently, I have 18 pens ink, which is a crazy amount for me because I usually just ink about 5 to 8 pens at once. And the reason why I did this, if you already saw my other videos, was because I had the Diamine Inkvent for this year. I also have the inksample.nl exploring box, which is basically another ink related advent calendars. And then coupled with this, I was also so close of having 200 pens and inks combination in the year. And so I kinda forced quote unquote myself to ink a lot more pens than what I am used to. I will just say that it's worth it. I love it. I love having more than 5 to 8 pens ink at once. But at the same time, it's a lot of pens. And so this time I want to show you what pens and inks I have inked. Different from my usual style, I will not show the comparison inks and between the swatch cards because otherwise I will get crazy. And so let's just sit back, have some tea or coffee or your drink of choice, and let's get to my currently ink for December, and I would assume also on the beginning of January. The first pen and ink combination that I have here is Diamine Inkvent 2025 Molten Basalt, and I fill it inside my Kaweco Perkeo with medium nib. This ink was written as a standard ink by Diamine, but it has a crazy amount of sheen that makes it very interesting. Oh, before I started with that, I forgot. I wanted to write the header with this. So I tried to find the swatch card, but somehow I couldn't find it. I have this amount of swatch cards. I think it's about 300, almost 400 cards by now. And somehow I couldn't find the exact ink in here. Well, it's my Opus 88 with Pilot Barrel 3.0, and I fill it with Ferris Wheel Press Stroke of Midnight, which is one of the ink bottle with shimmer that I have in my collection. And it's a very lovely looking dark blue with plenty of shimmer and a bit of red sheen on the sides. The shimmer itself are a mixture of goldish. I will show you after this because I cannot write and talk at the same time. I think this time I will do a very chatty video type of currently ink and not really as serious as my other ink. And I really love having the ink inside this Opus 88 just because the ink flows even more freely on this eyedropper pen compared to when I use the original body, which use a cartridge. Even though pilot cartridge have a bigger mouth than the other cartridges from other brands, but still this flows super good. Okay, we'll get back to this again. It's from day 13 of the Diamine Inkvent 2025, and I heard that molten basalt is actually some kind of volcano relating stuff. So it's like a drying lava that got trapped. Okay, I feel like I start to make no sense. You can search for it yourself, and it's pretty cool that Diamine makes this ink, which have quite a similar color compared to the real thing. And what I really like about this ink is that it looks bluish when it's wet, and then it dries to this lovely grayish with a bronze sheen, which is something that I really appreciate. That Diamine starts to also create inks that change color when it dries. And as always, the Kaweco Perkeo is very comfortable for me to hold and to write with. It's super wet and lovely coming out from this pen. The second one would be Diamine Inkvent 2025 Nostalgia, and I feel it inside my Jinhao 80 with Lamy Kanji nib. This Nostalgia is a chameleon ink, which means that the shimmer switch between the two colors. So it's pink on one side and usually on a lower angle. I hope the camera picks that up. It's on the yellowish shimmer, which is pretty cool. And this ink also shows up, like the shimmer also shows up on writing. The base color is dark enough. You can bring it and use it for writing in the office, and only people with a keen eyes will spot that it is actually a shimmer ink. As for the pen and nib itself, the Lamy Kanji nib is like a small version of Architect, so I don't think it is prominent looking on writing, but I can definitely feel the difference when I write with it. Third, we have Pennonia Mustvoros, young wine or mus, a type of wine that are available in Hungary, and I feel it inside my Arclayer Laksha Helix, which is a 3D printed pen with an ink chamber here. I hope the camera picks it up that the ink can go up and down if I tilt the pen itself. For this one, the nib that I have is the Bacas Predator blade, which have a reverse side that are smoother than the normal side. And in the past, I prefer to use the reverse side more than the regular side, but I grew to love the regular side as well. I'm trying to write with it, but it's stopping and not writing. So one of my complaint about this pen in general is that it does not have the best sealing mechanism. So oftentimes it's not writing immediately, especially if I don't write with it as often. Although this is pretty weird because I wrote with it earlier and I still have some inks left on the ink chamber. Okay, I managed to make it work. This ink is also from the Ensemble.nl Exploring box. I admit that I have a hard time choosing which ink go into which pen in this month, just because there are so many interesting inks on both advent calendars that I really need to be selective on which ink goes into the pens this month, and then for the rest it can go for the rest of 2026. And the next one is also a Diamine Inkvent ink. It's from Day 20 Ambience. It is a chameleon ink, which means that it has two shimmers, and pink and yellowish. Whenever I try to look for shimmer when I first swatch the ink, usually I really be like an acrobat and turning my chair, turning my journal everywhere up and down. This one is a bit harder to see. Yeah, and usually looking at it from the lower angle helps, but not always. And this color specifically is a coral base color, and coincidentally I also got the coral color for my Ensemble.nl advent calendar when I opened this one, so it's quite a funny coincidence to say. Ambience wins, and it went into my pen just because it is way more unique than the regular diamond coral that I got. And I have it filled in my Jinhao 80 with Lamy Prot Nib. I'm finding my Jinhao 80 and Jinhao 82 to be the great pen to have shimmer inks on. That's why this month all of my Jinhaos are ink. As for the fifth one, I have Diamond Inkvent 2025 Merrier, and I feel it inside my Studyo Agackakan primary manipulation 1 WP2 model, and the nib in it is Franklin Christoph medium thick nib. I find this ink super lovely. It looks yellow. If you look really closely or on certain paper, it has a pinkish undertone, which makes this ink look more unique than the regular yellowish brownish ink. And I find the naming scheme is also interesting. Merrier apparently was the name of salad sauce that was pretty popular back then on the 70s. Of course, I wouldn't get the reference if I don't read what other people know. As for the fifth one, I have Diamine Inkvent 2025 Bittersweet, which is a standard ink, the same with Merrier standard ink, and I fill it in my newest and my last pen of 2025 Asvine V126, which is a vacuum filler with medium black coated nib. So far, my impression with this pen has been wonderful. I really love how it writes. I also love the price. And it just feels nice on the hand. It's comfortable. I'm seeing myself that I may try the fine nib as well one of these days. And I also love that the pen body is a matte polish, so it's not shiny. And I am really into this kind of polish these days. It's also very wet, and like my normal fee with vacuum filling, I always open the end of the knob and not really closing it, especially if I don't bring it out. Otherwise, I would keep forgetting to open it up, and then I got annoyed when my writing felt dry. I really love how Diamine does this green color. It is green and we already have lots of greens out there, but the way they choose this green, it's pretty unique by its own. I don't think I have anything similar to this shade, so well done, Diamine. I have a thing with black pens apparently, because I had this pen. I also bought this pen, which was also one of my newest pen for December this year. I have Taccia, Midori, and I fill it inside my Lamy 2000 with medium 14 karat gold nib. It's a piston filler with very satisfying snap cap, but at the same time, I'm not really that happy with the nib because it has quite a sweet spot, which is different from my regular writing angle. The way the nib is, it needs to have a very wet ink that goes with it. So this is the second feeling that I have with this pen. The very first feeling was with a very bone dry dark brown, which was so not nice to write with, and it hard starts quite often. It still hard starts with this very wet Taccia Midori ink, but it's way better compared to the other one. I noticed that the pen is quite heavy for my own preference, so if I were to write with this pen for a long time, then I can feel the fatigue. But I am still learning about this pen, and maybe one day I will start to love this pen just like my next ink, which is also another black pen that I also got this year. I find it very strange, honestly, just because I usually like colorful pens, but somehow this year I got 3 black pens. Anyway, I have this Graf 1 Faber Castell moss green, and I fill it inside the Sailor Pro Gear Imperial black with medium 21 karat gold nib. This ink I got from the inksample.nl exploring box, and I was very impressed when I tried it with my tip pen because it just flows so nice, and it came down from the Kakimori brush nib beautifully, and I just need to dip once and it writes the half A5 without any problem at all. And so I wanted to have this ink inside a grid pen, and for my 200 pen and ink combination I also wanted to have something special to commemorate. And so I chose this pen, and I remembered that I want to try this ink inside a special pen, and so these two go well together. It's like whenever I pick this pen up and with this ink, I fell in love. I do think that maybe for the next times I can fill this ink inside this pen. Well, I usually never really retry a combination again because I try to move around my inks and my pens to understand them better. But this combination is just so great. With the Sailor Perkeo Imperial black medium nib, for some inks I don't really feel the feedback feeling on the nib. With this ink, it's the perfect balance. It has the Sailor feedback, and at the same time it's very smooth enough that it's just I love this so much. I do think that this combination is like one of the best for this month. Alright, so next up I have Diamine Inkvent 2025 Myrrh the Merrier. This is the last ink for Diamine Inkvent 2025, and it is a sheen and shimmer, although the shimmer itself is more on the chameleon rather than the regular shimmer. So I hope the camera can pick it up. It has like a bluish shimmer, and then it have a lilac type of shimmer, and the base color is greenish teal, just the same teal color as the color of the box. And I feel it inside my BENU Talisman Peacock Ore with medium Smith nib, which is also one of my best pen for shimmers. Writing with this ink is just so fun. I love the shimmer and the sheen that goes with it as well. And it flows really well as well from this pen. So I mentioned before that this BENU Talisman is one of my best pen for shimmer. And sometimes with some shimmer, they felt dry and unpleasant. Sometimes even I can feel the particles of the shimmer when I write. But with this one, I don't know, it's like a perfect balance of the ink and the shimmer. I can still feel that I can make precise lines with this pen and ink, while if it is just even more wetter than this, then usually it just starts to glide. Okay, the 10th combination is Zircon number 32 Poseidon, and I feel it inside my Esterbrook SD with CY Architect nib, which was grinded during Touch Pen Show this year. Some of my Fountain Pen Club members have a group buy with the Zircon ink from AliExpress earlier this year, and after seeing all the writing with it, I do feel the FOMO for not getting one. So I am really glad to find this ink inside my advent calendar on the inksample.nl exploring box this December, and that I can finally try this ink inside my pen. It is on the cyan turquoise color, and it has an interesting yellow undertone. Although you can sometimes see the yellow undertone on writing, but not always. It's just a fun ink to have, and especially if I write with a very heavy pool of ink, then I can see the yellowish undertone that goes with it. Okay, next up is another Diamine Inkvent 2025 overcast. This is from day 19. It's a standard ink, although it does have tiny bit of monochromo shading on the ink itself. I feel it inside my Pilot Custom Heritage 91, which used to have medium nib, but it has been transformed into some sort of naginata right now. When I filled this pen at first, what came out from the pen was something greenish. I think that's what's happening right now as well. Apparently because I didn't clean the pen properly previously, and I hadn't inked this pen for months. And so the next time that I ink it with this lighter color, then the green just seep through into this. So this is the original color, and it is slightly greenish, so it's kind of mixed in a bit. Well, I don't know what to say about it. I was quite disappointed that I cannot have the real color of this ink inside this pen, but whatever, sometimes it happens and that's totally okay. I think I still have quite a lot of ink inside my cartridge, and no, I almost write it dry. Great, because if I can write it dry or clean it fast, then I can try another inks inside my pens. So that's great. That makes me happy. Alright, next one is Diamond Event 2025 Let It Snow. It's a very bright blue color with chameleon shimmer. So it has a bluish shimmer, and also on different angle it has a lilac purplish shimmer, and I have it filled inside my Jinhao 82 with Loom medium nib. When I swatched this ink, I was quite disappointed just because it looks very much like a regular blue. If without the shimmers, then it is pretty close to Herban Blue Kalangu, I think. But the shimmer is the one that makes it much more interesting. And while I don't really gravitate towards shimmer in general, I don't mind inking this pen when it is December. Oh yeah, and I just find it quite interesting that I usually don't ink any shimmer ink, but for this month I ink almost all the shimmer ink that I got from Diamine Inkvent, and I have fun with it. So maybe what I need is just to ink more shimmer ink and just enjoy the process of inking. So the next one is the Lennon Tulper Atmospheric Ink Night Sky, and I fill it inside my Platinum Prefonte with medium nib. This is a big okay, I'm not sure if it is a pigment or another ink. What I know is that it is a waterproof ink. I was using this pen and ink for my work notes, and then I accidentally spilled my water or my tea on my table, which means also my work notes were soaked. And I was writing with some other pen that are not waterproof, but on the pages that I used this pen and ink combination, they are just fine. And the color itself is pretty okay. I'm not really a fan of it being paler when it's dry, but considering that it is a permanent ink, I'm fine with it. Okay, I just need to briefly show you how great looking all these four inks are, and I have all of this ink at the same time. Third to last, I have this Ink Institute Lavender Coral, and I fill it inside my Opus 88 Jazz with Matthew John Big Point. This ink I got also from the inksample.nl exploring box, and the moment I swatched it, I fell in love because it has quite a multi-shading chromo shader in it, and it's just so interesting, and it looks quite different in different paper, although I didn't really play around much with it just because I have it inside this big point. And while it is fun to write with the thicker part, if I go out, usually I don't bring this and I just bring something much more easier and practical. It dries to a more pinkish shade, and it's also fun to see the difference between wet and dry. Okay, the next one is also from the inksample.nl exploring box. This is one of the very first inks that I got from there. I think it's from day 3. And when I swatched it, I was like, ooh, what an interesting color, because it's like pinkish. At the same time, it has like a brownish undertone, and it reminds me a lot of some of the Kobe milk chocolate strawberry chocolate ink. Although I still haven't inked those Kobe inks yet, I do have some samples though, so I will get onto it sometime next month probably. It's a nice surprise and it's quite interesting by its own. I have it filled inside my Pilot Kako Knuckle, which has this very cute nib with the ribbon. It's a Robert Oster Burgundy chocolate notes. While I normally like this fine nib, I do think that maybe for my Pilot Kakuno with fine nibs, I like it better if I fill the pen with a darker shade of inks. So while this is like on the borderline of being too light and not dark enough, next time I will just choose a darker ink. And next up is the ink that is totally out of the season and yet I still ink it. So I inked this Robert Oster Cherry Blossom inside this Twist Diamond 580 RPT with medium nib last month on the 23rd of November specifically, because I wanted some colors on my currently ink, because at that time I think I have only like blues or greens and the darker desaturated colors. And so this was the only available ink at that time that I haven't inked in a pen yet and bright enough to have together with my other ink. So I chose this ink fully aware that this ink is better during spring with the cherry blossom. And let's just say that this ink puzzled me a lot, because sometimes it feels as if the ink is super bone dry, even on this Twist Diamond is more on the medium weather side, and sometimes it's just alright. So I kinda have a love love-hate relationship with this combination in general, and I didn't clean the pen yet just because I wanted to show you in a video for this ink, but now that I've done so, then I can just clean this pen. Yes. Alright, and we come to the very last of my currently ink this time. This is a Diamine Inkvent 2025 Gala from day 17. It's a standard ink and I have it filled in one of my newest pen that arrived this month as well. It's the Studyo Dream Shift in Seeker shape, and it has a medium Yowo number 6 name. Until today, I am still amazed that I received this pen on the exact same day that I opened this Diamine Inkvent calendar, and the color is just the perfect match. Too good to be true coincidence that I have to fill this ink inside this pen. It's just a lovely combination. This is my very first pen with Studyo, and as I mentioned before, I am really loving the matte polish finish, and I am really glad that this pen is matte and it just feels good on the hand. Although because I ink this much pens and inks at once, I do feel that I don't give this pen enough attention, and also my other pens in general. I will bring the paper closer so that you can see some of these colors in more detail. Shimmer on the Nostalgia, shimmer also on the Ambience, and shimmer on the Myrrh, the Merrier here on this side. And on this other side of the paper, I only have one. Yes, I only have one shimmer ink, which this Diamond Inkvent let it know. Although now that I see it, I don't really see that much shimmer on it, which is quite unusual because usually there are lots of shimmer on this reading. But yeah, that's 18 pens and inks. Ink that I am showing you today. I am really insane for doing this all at once just because I never really ink anything this much before. But sometimes I just probably need to shake things up a little bit, and the next time I go to my normal way of inking, then usually I would really appreciate my pens and inks even more than before, and that's always a nice feeling to have. So yeah, these are all the pens and inks, no, these are all the swatch cards that I have currently inked right now. I hope you will have fun together with me looking at all these colors, and see you on the next one. Bye bye!